Bandido Radio 112 FM, a streaming radio station for all toy enthusiasts, collectors, photographers, and customizers. Built to match your mood and passion. Music from hip-hop to country and all the rock in between with host Howlin' Jim Jackson. For a dose of the macabre, there's Myra's Morgue of Midnight Madness, featuring old-time radio dramas and Action Figure Frequencies, a radio podcast about all aspects of toys and toy collecting with your hosts, SKN's own Chet Maddox and Alexander Storm. Bandido Radio 112 FM. Available to stream now on Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
Welcome to the Friday Night Festival of Fun. I am your lovely, gorgeous host, Chet Maddox. It says so on the screen, surrounded by pure, utter sex appeal. Everyone here is excited to talk about Daredevil and other things and more stuff. And we're excited to get into it. So we're not gonna keep you waiting because you guys are here, and I feel like this is gonna be a very long conversation. So let's roll it and come back. That's right, gentlemen. How are you doing, Mr. Dr. Evil? How are you doing tonight, sir?
Pronounced Daredevil.
No, it's Doctor. It's not.
I'm doing fine.
It's not pronounced It's not pronounced Daredevil. All right. You know what? Bring in the thunder, Mr. Storm. How are you doing?
Doing all right. How's everybody else out there doing in TV land?
Ooh, we're kicking that back. Well, talking about kicking it back, Mr. KS Collectibles himself, the lovely, gorgeous face of Richard. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing amazing.
That's good. Hey, I heard just a little top of the hour tribute here. If you guys catch what I just did there, I heard that that you, Richard, and Mr. Storm brought a thunder of an episode that launched is going to show up tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah, we did. We're kicking off the tribunal, and getting that G.I. Joe knowledge out there.
Getting that out there. Well, hey, look, if you guys are members, you already got to see it. Okay, that already went live for members. And
Darth Moocher
is
a member.
He's a member, which means he did see it. And so if you didn't, then you're going to get to see it tomorrow. And then, hey, another members only that's going to be coming out is you'll get to see the Joystick Junkie stuff super early on as well from Meeks. That guy's been cooking, man.
Speaking of Meeks, how's it going, fellas?
Hey, little guy.
Doing good.
Hey, little guy. Welcome in.
And
we got
also somehow
this guy.
Crooked Smile is commenting on himself.
Just multitasking, isn't he?
Yeah, this guy's like he's all over the place, man. I thought he was here, but I guess he's there, you know.
Scott Simpson.
Scott Simpson.
Good evening,
I can
sir.
project with my mind.
Yeah, you can. That's crazy. Scott Simpson, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in.
And
Tripping with toys.
Ripping
Welcome
with
in.
toys.
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening to you. Good evening. Good morrow, sir, as they say. Mr. Storm.
And Darth
Oh,
Moocher. Still at
what's
work,
up?
but
What's
checking
up,
in.
Poocher? Welcome in. Mr. Storm,
Yes, sir.
you and I have had conversations about this, but I feel like this is a part where maybe you might want to like guide the ship a little bit, just because I'm a little bit passionate about this subject.
Okay.
So maybe we guide that passion. And for those of you that are wondering what kind of passion I'm talking about, I'm talking about this guy.
Yeah. Oh man. If you were not in the know, Daredevil Born Again, highly anticipated show. That was a continuation, actually, and that's the best part. A continuation from the Netflix shows. So he popped in, and they dropped 2 episodes. So they just didn't give us one to contend with. And everyone's talking about the first 5 minutes of it, where there was a little bit of intensity that ramped up, and they're trying to dig into what Netflix did so well over on Disney Plus. And hey, the language was a little different, the tone was a tad bit different. It doesn't quite look like the Netflix shows, but it's not so far of a further deviation where you kind of notice. So at least the actors are consistent, and they were bringing the heat, but nobody gives a damn about my opinion. They want to know what you guys think about it. What do you think about episode 1 and episode 2?
Mr. Richard.
Well, okay, so the one thing that I really loved about it, besides just how brutal that scene was, I mean, it stayed with the brutality, and for it being on Disney Plus, it's pretty impressive. I mean, that hallway fight was up there with the one that we had in the Netflix series, up there with the Punisher prison scene. Like, they kept the brutality level going. But like, there was what I had issued, like I said, my issue with the Captain America movie with Brave New World was it all felt small. It felt like it was a TV movie. It felt like everything was on a soundstage. This felt big. It felt like almost like a film. Not quite as expansive as a film, but it didn't feel like a TV show. So I really and they kept with the theme of the original series. They kept with the tone. I loved it. I've watched it twice. I've watched both episodes twice. I am impressed for this to be a Disney Plus show that has kept that same tone, or within the realm of the same tone.
Okay. And Dr. Brentley, like I said, we watched it, I think, immediately the day that it came out, which I believe they dropped it on Tuesday, if I wasn't mistaken. I think it was Tuesday. Like I said, what did you think about the episodes 1 and episode 2 and the tone from it being from Netflix over to Disney Plus now?
I was blown away. I loved every second of this thing, especially like right from the beginning. Started in black, and then it opened up. And it's little things like that. It's like there are confident filmmakers in charge of this that know what they're doing and how to tell a story. I loved that first opening bit, the fight when he was running over the rooftops at the beginning. I was like, that looks straight out of the comic books. People have been saying it was a little dodgy CGI. I thought it looked fine, especially for a TV show. But it really felt to me like a movie. It felt cinematic. It felt way different than every other Disney Plus show, because this felt like it could have been a movie. But yeah, we can get further into more stuff. But after that opening bit, and then it went right into the titles, it felt like a James Bond movie. Yeah. It felt, like I was ready for like a title song, somebody starts singing, and I was down for it. Like I was in, and that was 18 minutes, that whole opening. And then it went into the, time passage. But man, I loved it.
Okay. Mr. Maddox.
Yes, sir. Hey, look, I think that it was great for Disney Plus. I think that I would have loved to seen the writers from the Netflix series come on board and do the writing, and keep the direction the same way that it was on Netflix. But after everything that's been released on Disney Plus for the last, I don't know how long, this has been like, it was a breath of fresh air. And here's the deal. We talked about this with Rad, who's not here tonight. He's out polishing his yachts, and I think he's going to buy a new helicopter or something. But we were talking, and I think that the first 2 episodes were a little slow. However, I get it. I don't understand what happened in the first episode. I don't really want to say it if people haven't seen it yet, because I feel like it is still a little too new.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't really understand that whole point, but I know that whole point is going to come back up mid season to explain why it gets so crazy at the end, because we still haven't seen Punisher yet. So, but hey, look, they wrote a good scene, because when Matt Murdock and Kingpin were talking, it was really intense, and you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And then it was like, I was like, oh, okay, that's freaking rad. So I think it's good. I think it's promising, and I think it's good enough to excite them to move forward on more of these shows, which is what I ultimately wanted.
And it was definitely leaning into that rated R, the language, the violence.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was not what I was expecting, but I loved it.
Well, like I said, we get to see the two sitting at the bar together. Look, the chemistry between both actors is amazing. I will agree with Mr. Maddox on one thing, is I thought that it didn't have the same feel, because we've gone through a bunch of Disney Plus shows, and the original ones, like, WandaVision, the Falcon and Winter Soldier and everything, they were shot extremely well. Stories could have worked a little bit better, but they were at least shot well. I thought that the opening sequence to Daredevil relied too much on CGI, smoke, and everything, and it did not have the same immediate feel like the Netflix shows, because the Netflix shows were raw, shot like, it felt like on film. This felt very closed in, studio-ish, and everything else. The actors, we can't really kind of get into it, because we don't want to ruin the show, but there was a couple of things that didn't make sense that came from the Netflix over to this. So by the time you guys watch this next week, we'll probably be able to reveal, because you've had the time to see it. But I thought the action was good. I thought that Charlie Cox is a great actor. He's fantastic in that role. I like the aspect where they did time jump. He's moved into a different scenario, and it all felt real. But yet, I was telling Rad this, because we always have a weekly text chain that we do, and they do the same thing. They have a problem with streaming. When they were doing network television, every week you had to keep your audience captive. You had to end it on a note, and you had to get it for next week. But when you're doing, because you weren't paying for it, it was free, you didn't care. Streaming, they string you along, and everything is like, the same way they do, like, they move from the single issue comic book to the 6-issue miniseries. Everything's anticipating to the last several episodes. So we know Punisher's going to jump in. We've seen the White Tiger show up. We've seen, I know Bullseye. There's going to be certain characters that we know are coming, but everything's pushing to when John Bernthal shows up as the Punisher, and you could tell that. And that's where I kind of think that there's a little bit of I say sloppy writing when it comes to streaming. Everything's anticipation for the last 2 episodes, and I think that's where they had a chance to grab us, was if every episode was ripped. And we've seen that on streaming, because the Penguin, every episode got you.
Yeah.
This one, they're playing the long game, and
Well,
sometimes that doesn't get me.
Also, to remember, Netflix, they just released all the episodes at once.
True.
So it's really about how much time they're willing to put into it and pay for, versus like how fast they want it out. But I mean, look, if I could get more episodes and more scenes in episodes like this scene up here, like I think it's going to
Yeah.
be golden.
Mhm. Yeah,
Well,
and again, acting's fantastic on the show. That's the best thing. Like, it's probably one of the best acted Disney Plus MCU shows that we've seen.
and at the beginning scene, Karen Page has this shot that Deborah Ann Wool is the actress. That is amazing. She's
Yeah.
already sad, and then something worse happens behind her, and she doesn't know what it is. And that was some of the best stuff I've seen in a long time from an actress.
Mhm.
But I honestly don't know what you guys are talking about. I thought the Netflix show was so much slower.
Mhm.
And then this was just had me every scene. And then like end of the first episode, Kingpin becomes mayor. End of the second episode
We
was,
don't want to throw spoiler alerts there
well,
for
that's
everyone.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
it's in the
that's in the
trailers.
trailer. So but then the second episode is like, oh, the
King-
white tiger and this case. And I thought that was really good. It's like we're dealing with the Daredevil Matt Murdock stuff.
Yeah.
Second episode, now we're setting up the rest of the show. And they're starting to get the hints of the Punisher because the cops have the tattoo and stuff like that. But I don't know. I was riveted.
I
Yeah.
think moving forward, since it is a Disney Plus show, we're
Yeah.
going to get a lot more of the drama aspect
Mhm.
and a little bit less of the action than you would see. Like Netflix would depend heavily on action and
Yes.
like what was leading into the action. And I think because it's Disney Plus and the way Disney tends to do their streaming, we're going to get a lot more in depth, a lot more character work and a lot more drama to it. And I think that it lends really well, especially to Daredevil. I mean, anyway, we're all familiar with the comics. There's a lot more drama
Yeah.
and character development in Daredevil than probably anybody else in the Marvel universe, as far as is getting to know who Daredevil is. And I think we're going to see that play out in this series, or
Yeah.
at least that's my hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, again, the better part of these Disney Plus shows is whenever they get the character right. I think that's the thing that most fans are either they're upset about or they get more admiration on. This cast and this crew has gotten, Punisher and Daredevil and even the White Tiger to a certain point seemed very comic accurate, even down to his costume. So there's we get there's plus and minuses. Did it have the same Netflix feel? No, it was missing. There's something that's missing from Netflix. But this is what happens when you have like any of the revivals that we've ever seen through any of these shows. It's missing what happened the first time around. It always happens. So I was kind of interested to see if they could duplicate it. And they're both shows live on its own, but at least they're able to bridge the gap and they work together.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, we'll see. The next episode has to hit hard because I think there's a lot of expectation releasing the first two. So, but what's great is that they did release toys at the same time.
Yes, they did. And they did it the day of actually of Wednesday. It was supposed to drop Wednesday, the show, and they dropped the show on Tuesday, but they had the toys available on Wednesday. So I think that is always a very good marketing ploy anytime, you've got a brand new show out. And boy, they did drop one hell of a good looking toy.
Yeah. This is a very good Deadpool with a Daredevil head.
Yeah, no, I thought like I said,
it's one of the most accurate ones. It's one of the most accurate ones they've done. I do like it.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it's accessories because I've seen the other Daredevil figures that they've done through the Marvel Legends one, and I know the first one they did for the Netflix show that is not a repeat. And I'm kind of like with his throwing staffs, to have the connection and you can go in both ways with or without it. I think that's actually pretty cool. Again, it looks like Charlie Cox as the actor, but the suit is very accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. What do you think from a customizing perspective, Richard?
The thing about it is it's it's a simple body. It's a lot of what, at least from the samples that we see. I mean, we don't see the actual the figure, but it looks like it's mostly paint application. Like
Yeah.
it's a solid suit body,
Mhm.
and most of the uniform seems to be paint applications, or at least in the pictures that I've seen. So it's a generic body that can be easily customized.
That's always a
I
good thing.
mean, I want to get two of these because I want to paint one of them yellow.
Mhm. Well, okay. Did out of the group, who ordered this? Right now, we can't ask because I think Rad's sick, unfortunately. So he's
I
probably
did.
not in.
I did.
So
Yeah, I got
I
it.
did myself. So that's I know Rad probably did.
Yeah, I
So,
think he did. I think I ordered like 15 of them or something like that, so I could resell them for $98 a piece.
well, if you didn't have a chance to pick that up on Wednesday, right now over at Hasbro Pulse, it is sold out. But I know it's up on our
No,
affiliate
it's
Entertainment
still
Earth
available on
and the
Pulse.
best person. I checked it earlier today and it was out. It said sold out.
It says, I'm looking at it right now. It says low
All
stock.
right. Well, that's
Oh,
good.
well, he's
Yeah.
got that secret. He's got that secret in stock.
Also, this week, since we're talking about Hasbro Pulse and everything else that we've ordered, Mr. Maddox, you had a problem with Hasbro Pulse. And
Yeah.
if you're in the chat, if anyone else had the same problem, we'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, so my problem with Hasbro Pulse, and thank you for asking. I know everyone gives a shit, and since there's 120,000 people watching right now, I'm gonna explain it. I was logged in right when it launched, and Storm and I were on the phone while we were texting, and I was trying to buy it, and it wouldn't let me buy it.
Yeah.
I kept getting an error saying like, "Sorry, due to this and due to that," and then it wouldn't load it. And then I tried on my computer, I tried on my phone, I tried on my iPad, I tried on my other computer. None of that shit worked. And then Storm was like, "I mean, do you just want me to get it for you?" And I said, "Yes." And I still can't order it. And this is right after I was able to order Daredevil with no fucking problem.
Yeah, yeah. And I've noticed I had a bunch of people saying the same thing, that either they have problems when it comes to checkout, that they can't, they've got to, even though their credit card was already preloaded, they've got to go back in and put it all in, and by the time they do that, it's already gone. So these issues are coming up. Now I haven't had one single problem from it. And again, we're talking about the Archangel drop that I have to actually go purchase. But Daredevil worked fine, and all of earlier in the week with any of the classified stuff worked fine. So, Richard, you run into any problem?
I had a very similar problem. It was that old like trying to get your tickets for San Diego Comic-Con, where it was in my, something was in my cart, and when I go to check out, it was all of a sudden sold out. And was my Dr. Doom helmet.
I knew somebody was buying it. I'm
Which
gonna
really-
wait
which
because I've
really-
never paid full price for any of that stuff.
Yeah, Dr. Doom is my favorite villain of
Yeah,
all
it is.
times, and I
Yeah.
was all about it. I was on as soon as it launched, and it was in my cart. I go to pay for it. It said it was sold out.
Is it
And
showing up now
I
on
add
Hasbro
it-
Pulse?
It's sold out. It's sold out on
sold
Pulse.
out, legitimate.
Yeah.
Did you try any of the other
Yeah,
aftermarket
I'm
ones?
gonna get it. I'm gonna get it from somewhere
Yeah.
else. But
Yeah, because I'm about to say that one I saw it too, and again the price range. Look, I'm a person that owns masks and helmets and shields and swords and all kind of crap from them. They do a pretty good job, but I've unfortunately got every one of them from Ross or with the Captain America shield. I was able to get that before the new movie came out, so they discounted the Falcon and Winter Soldier version.
I get. You know what? I paid. I think it was $35 for my Captain America shield, but mine
Okay,
is a little different though.
Yeah.
I got the anniversary, the actual metal shield.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see.
But I
Yeah.
used to have a Hasbro hookup, which God, I miss him.
Yeah, a lot of people miss the hookups. I can tell you that a lot of people miss the hookups. But that Dr. Doom. The one thing that I thought that was really good about the Doom helmet is how they had the hood, Because at
Yeah.
first I was wondering, are they going to, is that just for the photography aspect of it? Or are they actually giving the hood is just going to be like, like Iron Man or like the Black Panther, they just drop it. And when I saw the felt hood, I was like, if it was, like I might be screwing myself playing the long game here because it might be gone. But I was like, I'm gonna wait. But that is probably one of
And
the premier, Marvel accessories that you could get, man.
honestly, though, I mean, $100 isn't bad. A
It
lot of
isn't
these when
bad,
they
yeah,
come
no.
out, they're 125,
Sure,
130. I mean, $100, and it's for it to be a full helmet. I'm like,
sure.
you know,
Like
and
I'm
I
just
and I collect the helmets. I have
yeah.
quite a few of them. I have a life size. It's a motorcycle helmet, but it's a Master Chief helmet.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, and I have the old 66 Batman cowl, not the one that McFarlane did, but there was one that was done by a company. I think it was the what do they used to be called, the San Francisco Toy Company. They did it actually right before Adam West died.
Wow.
That's the reason I purchased it, because I was actually supposed to go to Arizona and he was at the con and I was going to have him sign it, but he ended up passing away.
Oh.
Oh man.
So, but yeah, certain things. I mean, and Doctor Doom is up there.
Well, like I said again,
Dr. Doom.
I think I'm just stuck in a way. I've never paid full price for them, and I'm just gonna live and die just waiting to see if,
You know,
if it comes
I,
down
I
on
might
discount.
I might end up suffering because of it, but it's
Look,
something. This is one I will never sell. I will never resell. So it's for me.
yeah. Well, like I said again, if you want it, you want it. It's never a point of people being like, "Oh man, you should wait" or whatever. You feel like you want to go out and get it, do you? Don't listen to anybody else and everything. But Mr. Storm's gonna wait till it comes on discount some damn place. And if anybody starts, and we'll say it probably gonna take by the summer, by I say the tail end of the summer, and then we'll start seeing if it pops up at some of these magical places that have been able to get hammers and shields and all type of things, Black Panther mask, and couldn't get that Spider-Man one though, damn it. So from there, Mr. Maddox, what else we got, brother?
Well, I don't know, man. My brain's all crazy. This week has been busy. It's been all over, and I think I'm
Okay, well then
yeah.
here's
I
the
mean,
part. Everything.
there was so much. This is the thing, is like there's so much that I want to talk about in this show tonight, but I do understand that we really honestly only have like an hour. But there's something big that has happened, that's happening right now, that maybe we should probably talk about, because I feel like it's kind of big, and I feel like a lot of people that like Game of Thrones might be interested in buying this thing. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think it's as usual. We've getting to the part of the show where, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for SKN News.
How do you choose to die?
I beg your pardon. Could you tell me if you just saw a dragon pass by? Dragon!
Oh snap!
Watch out for the dragons.
Well,
I am so excited about this. However, I'm not excited about what they posted. I think it's kind of messed up, but this will be a topic of conversation, I'm sure, for quite a while right now. But yeah, let's get into it first.
all right. Well, like I said again, this dragon can be yours for the low price of damn near your life savings. Yeah, Mystic, the Four Horsemen actually Studios has released this. They've just dropped today too, Friday. If you're watching this on the replay crew, then it's not Friday. But if you're watching us live, like right now, it dropped today at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is one interesting thing. This did not drop as a Kickstarter or any other crowdfunding. It is actually up on the storehorseman.com, which is a version of the Four Horsemen site. So they're actually putting that through together. But this beast, first of all, if you went to Legion Con, you've seen this. This thing is massive, and pictures don't quite describe the detail in it and the size, but you kind of get a little bit of close to it. But this thing it's measuring approximately 22 inches from the bottom of his feet to the tip of its wings, 12 feet wide on the wings, and 31 inches from the snout to the tail. You can fully extend his tail for an even greater size. He has full 50 points of 50 points of articulation.
That's nuts.
This articulation even comes to ratcheted wings and limbs to ensure stability, and a monstrous toy. But they just didn't leave it at this super crazy Mystic Legion beast. No. They had to actually get us one fold on this, because they dropped some other things that came down. There's actually stretch goals. Like $500 was enough. They were like, wait a minute, hold on. If you want to, get this up to damn near a whopping about $1,000, let's roll it out. So as we look at it right now, this is for the 500 price point, but they need to get to 2,000. So the dragon will only be sold.
It might as well breathe fire.
fire?
It might as well breathe
If they
fire.
had like propane or something and it blew out 550, I'd be like, they're actually selling it too low.
Yeah.
But this dragon is only sold on storehorseman.com. It won't be through Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, or any other place. It's only going to go through the Horseman. And you will be charged at the time of ordering. So best be known that if you thinking that hey, I know Toy Atlanta and a bunch of other shows, WonderCon's coming up, but nobody's going to fucking WonderCon. Everybody's going to Toy Atlanta.
That is a true fucking statement.
You can 100% have that dropped out. But here's the great thing, though. They know they're hurting you. So like Hot Toys, you will be offered a payment plan of 4 bi-monthly, not monthly, bi-monthly. So they're going to let you have a month where you can eat, and then 1 month where you are almost on the street, and then another month. 4 bi-monthly payments. The base dragon will cost $550 and requires a minimum of 2,000 units sold, which is extremely low. So that's good. So if there's some niche people that want it, you're going to get a chance to get it before it goes in production. Now, here's the thing where it's going to kill you. And again, anybody that I think we know that there's a Mike the Hunter who works at the post office. You'd probably be the person that would tell you this right now. The shipping will be an additional cost and will be based on location. They think the box will weigh around 30 to 40 pounds.
That's like over $100 for
Oh,
shipping.
it has to be.
That's well over $100.
I was thinking maybe 120, 130 in shipping, because that's a pretty heavy box. And I think that puts the Cat's Lair to doom, because that was at that, and the Ghost. I think the Ghost only weighed 19 pounds. So that's a pretty heavy item and everything. So you can look at it. So now if you get to 2,000 units, you get the Dragon. You get past that and everything, you can pick up a Knight that comes really in a little excess thing. It goes a little bit more than that. Another stretch goal. You get a skeleton with a pair of sword. Now, compared to the Knight and the Dragon, it looks like they kind of cheaped out on the skeleton a little bit, but it's right there. But guess what? That ain't it, brother. If you thought that was the only way to, no. It goes up a notch and everything. So from there, if they reach 2,500 units sold, then you get you get the Knight, and it added included at no additional cost. But at $500, that's a lot of money. So, but still, I give him the credit. He comes with a broadsword, dragon shield, a dagger, extra head, plus full sorts of soft goods. That's at 3,000 units sold. Now, the one thing they did say, which I'm just going to paraphrase because you can read for yourselves up here, that this actual character will not be sold separately outside of the crowdfunding. So if you don't get the Dragon, you don't get the Knight. So that's actually kind of cool. You can look over here where he's got, again, he does come with a bunch of stuff. Mystic Legions does a great job on making their characters come with a full assortment, and the soft good cape is extremely nice. But then you get Ashkin the skeleton figure, which will be unlocked at 3,500 units, and will be Ashwin. If you get it to the unlocked of the 4,000, then there's a little bit of a prize that's sold on that. But we're not done though. No. They couldn't just stop there. We're still going up on this. The pocketbooks are going. So then here's where they guys getting you. They got the Fiery Breath add-on pack. That's right. With an with alternate dragon head.
There's your fire breathing.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. With alternate head, a burning night figure that is translucent at $150. That needs 1K units sold. The dragon will extend the tail and his fire breath up to 71 inches long. 71 in the shipper's tail to his breath.
Here's my problem. Okay. So they're saying that all this shit was supposed to be unlocked, right? But then, like, they take the money for all this shit as soon as you place pre-order. So, like,
Yep.
are they gonna refund it, or is this one of those like cloud schemes where they just take your money and then take your money and run like a little bitch?
I can tell you one aspect is that that's in no way, shape, or form Four Horsemen. They don't play that game. They're the top-notch company. There's never been a problem with them. They've actually had most of their items, and never one of this size. But they are, it's not like they're dealing with like NECAs or any smaller companies. These guys know there's going to be a little bit of blowback on this. But the upgraded parts of the Burning Night will unlock if 1,250 units are sold. So that's upgraded parts. The Epic Wings add-on set, and with Ashkin the zombie figure, is 150, and that needs 1,000 units to be sold. Ashkin the zombie add-ons is set to include if 1,250 units are sold. Once the campaign ends, the dragon will no longer be offered again. It won't be offered through outside retailers or sold at any show. So the good thing about this is, if you want a one-off item that you're not expecting, it's not like they're going to change them a couple of years later. It's a purple dragon or something else like that. You paid it and it's cheaper. Chances are, it's going to miss out. Now, at that point, you look at all the add-ins and everything else that should go in, the shipping and everything else. This is looking upwards between the $8,000 and $1,000 scenario,
No,
and
if
you live in the United States. Yeah, well, think about it. If you live in Canada, how much crap is that going to cost?
Yeah,
$4.
You're looking at easily $1,100, because that's the thing that really bothers me is the upgrade kits being $150 each.
Yeah,
you're already paying $550 for the base. I mean, at least make them $50. I mean, 150, especially for the wings. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting an extra set of wings and a figure. Like that. I get the head, because I think there's actually, isn't there 2 heads with that?
There's 2 heads with it. Yeah, I just didn't put it in.
Yeah, there's 2 separate heads and the fire. Like, okay, I can get that being more, but you get a set of wings and a figure for $150.
Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, we are coming. I think we were at Geeking Out, and the figures are running 50 or more.
Here's my thing about Mythic Legions and anything like the Four Horsemen do. It's not supposed to be compared price wise to anything else. Because everything else doesn't exist compared to it. This, in my idea, is like, you could double this price if Hot Toys was releasing this at 1/12 scale.
Yeah.
And so the Four Horsemen, honestly, from a like collector / I don't know, like action figure realm, they're in their own world. They can charge whatever they want. It's not an issue. I don't have a problem with it, because I didn't collect it at first, and there's a few that I want from them, but I have held them, and I've moved them around and everything, and the quality on these is bar none better than fucking Mayfex and like Hasbro and all that shit. Like the quality is phenomenal on these. So I understand the cost. Like if you look at the head with the fire, and then the fire and all the other things, and the figure, realistically it breaks down to 50 for the accessories, 50 for the dragon head and neck, and 50 for the other
2 dragon heads in that. So
no, but I'm saying in the big dragon head with the fire, like
I'm saying it comes with a There's a second head that comes with it.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying is like it from their price point perspective,
Yeah.
it's really not that outlandish.
No, that's not.
And these fucking wings in this other one are massive. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Like that's
What?
the one that I would probably buy. I don't know if I would buy the fire. I don't know because I'm on the fence right now. I want all of this shit, so I just have to.
Yeah.
I have to sit back, and then what'll happen is I'll be in a time of weakness, and I'll be vulnerable, and I'll have to call Mr. Storm or Dr. Daredevil, and I'll be like, I need somebody to talk me out of this because I have 3 in my cart.
Look, the minute I saw this, we were joking. I was like, shit, I guess I'm gonna buy a $550 dragon. I was like, damn it. Now, look, I'm good with just the dragon. I don't need the fire shit and all the rest of the stuff with it because $550 for a dragon that's I know legitimately is only going to ever sit. And in fact, I might have to we're going to be doing a whole room tour thing. It's kind of like we're going to try to up it like Scott Solo did. But I know we're purchasing brand new shelves and everything. It's going to sit on top of the shelf. Never in any way will you see this. And actually, with $550, he should be hosting the show, to be quite honest with you. I should have him sitting on my lap every episode, everything. But he's going to sit on the shelf and he's going to extend. I don't need the giant wings. I don't need the crazy fire effects or the shiny knight. I'm sure there's some people out there that really do want it. But at $550, that's kind of like, wow,
Yeah.
do I really want to get to, like Richard said, $1,100, for something that's not rent?
Yeah, but
that's the thing for me.
because the payment plan, I'm actually thinking about this, and
No, the
I
payment
would
plan
get them
makes it
all
easier.
too, because it's like, oh, I can't afford it, but it's almost reasonable.
Well, I mean,
And if
if
Dark
you're,
Mooch is here, he's done Hot Toys. So anybody's purchased Hot Toys from Hot Toys, you can do a payment plan through them too.
I mean, if I was gonna get it, I would have to get it all.
Oh,
I mean, I'm gonna complain about the prices, but I'm gonna pay them.
Well, it's like-
like you said, it's the best quality toys they are out there. It's great, and don't get me wrong, I love Hot Toys. Hot Toys are amazing, and I have a bunch of them. The thing about Hot Toys is, they display great. As far
Yeah.
as any movement or playability of them, it's trash.
yeah.
They're not very
I would
put together very well. Their bodies are
agree.
not.
I would agree on that. I bought my first hot toy ever because it was a really good deal, and it was a trooper on a speeder bike or whatever, and like it's fantastic. Like it's great, but it's not what I'm into. I like being able to move them around. And I enjoy this one because it's great. I got it for a good price. There's maybe 1 or 2 other hot toys that I would buy, but it's not my thing. Like I would rather buy 3 Mythic Legions figures than to be honest, than a hot toy. And
Hot Toys make great display figures, and especially if it's a character you're really into. Like I said, I have a bunch of them, but I mean, Mythic Legions by far are probably, I'd say, the best on the market.
Yeah. I give them credit. Like I said again, they've they've made their own market. And again, like Chet said, you can't compare this to like G.I. Joe Classified or Marvel Legends or anything. It's a completely different realm, and the quality and everything. And we were at a show, and look, the figures have some weight to it, and the packaging is great and everything else. There's a lot of time and effort that's put into the characters, so it's not something easily done. But like I said, at 1,100, that's a road too far for Mr. Storm to bear.
But the sculpt on this is amazing. It is so beautiful.
It's unreal.
Yes.
It's fantastic. I
Some
mean,
of the
look,
stuff Mythic Legions do, like I don't know how familiar you guys are with their All-Star line, which are their version of basically He-Man figures.
yeah.
Oh no,
Like,
I've seen it, but never.
They are still. I've seen them in person, and they are freaking amazing. They are absolutely and at a reasonable. I mean, $50, but for what you get, they're weighty, big, well-made figures.
Yeah, well, like I said again, go over to the website over there, and if you want it, hey, it can be yours, and it can be for 4 bi-monthly payments. So they don't have to take out, you don't have to take that loan out and everything, or go over to Rocket Mortgage or something. you can actually
Yeah.
you can actually go get them.
Your bank account won't find out until sometime like in August.
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right.
Wait, you spent
But
how
from
much?
there, we move on to
I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chum some of this shit.
that is right. That is right. And everything is that after 50 years, it's still not safe to get in the water anymore. That's
Nope.
right. Steven Spielberg's adaptation of the novel Jaws was put the filmmaker on a map all to his own. But the excitement surrounding the picture helped birth the concept. And yes, 50 years ago, they birthed the concept of the blockbuster. This thing ruled the summer like no other. And right now, there's a couple of things for the 50th anniversary they're doing. Here's the thing: it would really piqued their interest because there's a certain thing that we like to fall on right here. Alamo Draft House Cinema will be kicking off a summer-long Jaws celebration over the Memorial Day weekend, which bad things happen on the Memorial Day weekend on that island.
Yeah.
Their theaters nationwide will be hosting Jaws movie parties, screening featured a special menu. God knows, I don't know what the menu is going to be, and some fun props along with a limited edition. That's right, here we go. Popcorn bucket and merchandise. You're damn right. Now, Dr. Brentley and I was debating on what this would look like, and there's two ways. One, I'm gonna get mine. I want to see the shark, and I want to see the boat attached. And you put the popcorn in, you can put your hand like Quinn was being bitten off and everything. So, Dr. Brentley, what was your version of the popcorn bucket?
Yes, very similar to that, but like the old game where there's got to be like a rubber band on the mouth. So one of these times you reach in, it's going to snap on your arm.
Mr. Maddox, what do you think this popcorn bucket may look like?
I mean, I had my idea, but now I fucking want the bucket that bites my hand. I really want the bucket that bites. I think that no matter what they do, it has to be a mouth of a shark. I don't think it could be anything else. But I am now requesting that the shit bites my arm.
It's like what they can do. Ben Gardner's boat. You can reach your hand into the little hole in the side.
Sure, you can do it. It can be like, you can come. I see the meal. They can put some sushis on a little like yellow cart. Like they have like some fan come down and slap them in the face and everything. You knew that beach was open. It's like, look, after 50 years, this is really up there. Richard, if you had a popcorn bucket, if you were in design at the popcorn bucket at Universal, what would this be, brother?
So I would have it. The top of the bucket be like a flotation device, the old ring, but with the person. So you reach in there, and I would have the shark molded at the bottom of the. So you reach in there, and the shark head is down there. And hey, maybe that could snap at you.
So it feels like you're reaching in like a chum bucket.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, why don't you come chum some of this shit out?
Yeah.
The joke, I can see that too. Like guys, like, yeah, what do you want and everything? Let me have the sushi chum bucket. Like, I don't know.
That makes me want to vomit. Like, to fucking say that shit.
But that probably is something they will offer at the Alamo Draft House.
I'm sure.
Look, I'm saying it right now. I think we need to have a SKN Pixel Plastic Ink night and go watch this.
I absolutely think that. I mean, you know what? We may just schedule a watch party for something like that.
That watch party will be scheduled on our Discord. So make sure you sign up for Discord to figure out when all that shit's going to happen. We create events in there, and it's a community-driven Discord. So make sure you're in there to drive that community.
Absolutely. And then the one thing too, now if you're not on our Discord, but God knows, I don't know any reason why you wouldn't be. Like I said, Jaws will be streaming exclusively on Peacock, which is the universal version of whatever streaming service it is, starting on June 15th. But it ain't just that, though. They got some bangers also along with it. You got Jaws 2, and personally, one of my favorites, because Dr. Brentley knows that Louis Gossett Jr. is the point of contention. There's an obsession with Louis Gossett Jr. movies. And Jaws 3D, if you didn't have the chance to ever sit in the theater, you were robbed. You were robbed. I had to go to 7-Eleven, get those stupid stupid glasses, and then go to the theater. But unfortunately, with all things, they took it one too far. They're also going to put Jaws the Revenge, where the
I'm
shark
excited.
goes
That's
to the
my favorite.
Bahamas. Goes to the Bahamas.
I'm excited for that.
That's my favorite.
Of course it is, Richard.
Or Michael Caine. You
Look,
still
And
Cash
by
Michael
the way,
Caine-
Louis Gossett Jr. is one of my favorite actors of all times.
He is,
Mind
he
you.
is.
Yes, you can
Yes,
sense
I'm
the
telling you.
desperation.
We cannot
you can.
discount Iron Eagle for its
Cannot.
gloriness.
No. Officer and a gentleman, in the midst of because he gives the speech in that like he did. I was like, this is not Oscar worthy, but it's right up on the point there, Mr. Gossett Jr.
Well,
But,
look, in Jaws the Revenge, though, I will say Michael Caine does give one of my favorite all-time line readings ever. The shark is attacking him on his boat, and he just goes, "Oh, shit!"
well, true emotion. You probably saw that first check getting cashed. So from there, in case you don't know a little bit of history and everything else, June 20th, 1975, Steven Spielberg's Jaws was unleashed by Universal Pictures. Look, still to the day, the movie holds up. It's amazing, good work that lasts that long. And, also they're releasing a bunch of Blu-rays. NECA has a bunch of figures if you haven't seen it. You can get yourself a Quinn and you can get yourself a Hooper, so, it's nice to see all this kind of stuff. And then they also released at Toy Fair that the shark game that Dr. Brentley so eloquently said, where they have a whole bunch of things, tires, all kind of crap you can put in his mouth, license plate, so there's a lot of great things, but 50 years, it's the thing that every time you see when we talk about these Avenger movies and everything else blowing up, it's due to Jaws and everything. There you go. Well,
You can't argue with a good creature feature.
you can't. No. Man, look, the
You can
shark
try.
wins. The shark wins. Technically, we'll ruin the movie for the shark wins. Now go watch the movie and then
Yeah.
Well,
something wrong with that.
I don't know. If the shark is fighting the semi, it
Yeah.
depends on if they're fighting in the water or on land.
Hey, you
Because
remember-
on land,
remember-
the semi wins.
Okay, you know what my favorite Jaws is? Do you remember Jaws in Back to the Future 2?
Yeah, the one where
Jaws
yeah,
19.
Yeah.
Dude, that shit was awesome. And then I was like, you guys understand they made Jaws 3D, right? Like, I don't. It's like,
Well, then what you do is you enjoy all the Jaws movies in a nice marathon, and then
Yeah.
you watch all the Sharknado movies.
I fucking
And then
know.
and then Deep Blue Sea, and then then the Megalodon,
Megalodon.
just
Okay.
Shark Night, 100%. Not the one on Discovery. That's trademark.
No, you want
But
to? Yeah,
SK
you
and
gotta.
Shark Night.
Yeah, you gotta watch real Shark Nights, like SK and real Shark Nights.
Right. So that's the thing.
Maybe
We may do
actually, I'm thinking we do Shark Night, but I will edit only the shark attacks into one movie.
that. No, man,
every
you gotta
shark
have the
attack in
keys
every
to bad
movie.
acting, man. You got to see kid getting eaten on a flotation device. You missed the
We'll
whole
see,
part
we'll
of the
see
best
Alex
part of it.
Kittner in the water,
Yeah.
but
It's the whole part of city council meeting where they just decide
no. See, all
the beach
that's
is open.
That's all the bullshit. You
it's
take
it.
that out. All I want to see
that's
is
a legitimate city
red in the
council member.
water.
My local city council member looks like those same son of a bitches. From one good turn comes another. One return deserves another. Last week we told you that there's a good chance that Captain Kirk is coming back. Well, the Trek fans, if there's any still left out there, they've gotten a different one. They've been asking for this one. Star Trek Janeway, a series focused on the return of the classic Catherine Janeway, is set after the events of Prodigy, which you're not watching. That was a very good show. It's a very I put it on the same vein of Clone Wars for Star Wars, and perhaps after the events. Yes, I should have known Dark Merger. And after the events of Picard season 3, speaking to a crowd, which last week we actually told you on the official Star Trek crew. So chances are she made it off the boat, which is a good thing. She answered some questions about the possibility of a Janeway focused spinoff series or feeling that her return to the franchise in any capacity. And she put, there's a conversation happening, and it's being pursued. Now, the last time we saw her, and then she basically has been acting for the last couple of years on Prodigy, which is a very good show. It's over on Netflix. It's the animated version. But she stated her preference, which she's hoping and pursuing, would be simply to get a third season for Star Trek Prodigy, because Netflix nor Paramount has actually committed to that. So, with that being said, would you guys want to see a Janeway series? If it, let's put it like this: if it was better than Picard's,
Hey, Picard season 3 was great. I
well, you have to
really
say
enjoyed that
season
one.
3.
But yeah, that's the only one you need to watch. Look, Kate Mulgrew is great. I
Yes.
loved Voyager. She is one of the great captains because she like does stuff harsher than even Picard and Kirk. She is brutal and unforgiving, which you have to fight the Borg. But there's some interesting things because she is going to be at about the age when Voyager came back in the end,
Oh, okay.
but then they
Yeah.
went back in time and fixed it. So they came
Yeah.
back, the 25 years earlier or
You're right.
whatever.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
they can do something because it's time travel, bring back that story or just see where she goes from here. But she's a great actress. I love the character.
Okay. Richard.
I am going to say something that's probably very unpopular.
Well, that's why we do the show.
You
I hate
preferred
Star
you
Trek.
preferred the he preferred the episode with Princess Leia when she was attacking the Borg.
Yeah, I despise Star Trek.
Wow.
The only thing of Star Trek that I've ever liked was Next Gen, and I was like in high school at the time. So yeah, no.
So we've got you,
I mean, there's great
well,
actors
you
in
and Dark
some of these
Moocher.
shows,
You and
but
Moocher.
not for me.
Chet, you carry any of these rebooted series, or just a pass on you, brother?
No, I love Star Trek. She was fantastic. She was great. I do happen, yay, Richard. No, Moocher. I do happen to like the animation series a lot.
Yeah.
Next Generation is probably my jam. I just watched it with my dad all the time, and my dad always had conversations about. He would like get deep into conversation. I'm like, man, I just wanted to watch the fucking show, but all right, I guess we'll have this conversation. I think it's cool, but here's my problem: is like it was already a rough series. I don't think a lot of people got into it, got into Deep Space Nine, and I don't think a lot of people after Next Generation, all these other series that came out were like hit and miss. And I agree with Scott getting a
Yes.
Worf series. I'm in that 100%
Absolutely.
nonstop all day long. Klingons versus the Sith would be amazing. So I think this is I'm curious to see what happens. Excited? No. Curious?
Well,
absolutely curious.
They need better showrunners than they have had on most of this stuff, and hopefully they get rid of just the production company that's been doing it, because Section 31 is the worst Star Trek thing that's ever, like, there's no episode of television that Star Trek has ever done that it's as bad as that.
Really? Other than Phase 2? Because Phase 2 didn't even get to get on TV.
No. Look, I will take test footage. It was that bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
I mean, it's resembled Star Trek in zero ways, except that they sometimes use, oh, hey, that's a Vulcan. Oh, that's a Klingon. That's it. Otherwise, it had nothing to do with Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't know how that got greenlit and who the hell wrote that, but somebody that wrote that didn't watch Star Trek. I can tell you that.
Because Michelle Yeoh said yes, and that
well,
she just
that's
won an
fine.
Academy Award. Well, let's do something. Doesn't have to make sense.
Just write her in something that people are going to want to rewatch. That's the problem.
You'd think.
All right. Well, like I said, again, hopefully, again, if you haven't gone to the Star Trek official cruise, well, sound like you're getting some exclusives there too for the $2,300 that we mentioned last week. So you got this a week before we would have got it. So there's a difference. From there, we're not done, because one return deserves another one. And guess what? Oh my goodness. Now this is going around, and this is interesting because the whole thing with Bond, and we've recapped that on a couple of Pixel Plastic Ink shows a couple of casts ago. Another round of shaken, not stirred. That's right. In a recent interview with GQ, Pierce Bronson, if you don't know, Mr. formerly Remington Steele and 007, is asked if he was aware of the calls for him to return as an older Bond or whether he would actually be open to it. While Bronson is 71, looks great for his age, admits that he's interested in a franchise return. He does not say that he thinks that it may be the best to let someone new take over. Check out his comments below. It's like, I've heard of that, of course. How can I not be interested? It would be a delicate situation now. I think it's best to let sleeping dogs lie. Really, I think so. It's rather a romantic notion and idea, but I think everything changes, everything falls apart. I think that it's best to let another man really fresh the blood. Now, it's been 23 years ago since his last Bond debut, but here's the thing. We were talking about how Amazon has a chance to do certain things. Would you like to see an old Bond series with Pierce Bronson? Because let's be honest, I thought his time as Bond was very short.
He had just as much time as everyone else. He had 5
but
movies.
it seemed like.
Do you remember the guy that had the shortest amount of time as Bond?
Yeah, we do.
Lazenby.
Yeah.
Which I don't like that. For some reason, so many people love On Her Majesty's Secret Service, except for the ending. I think it's trash.
Wow. Okay.
That's right. Because you know so much about Bond, you and I are going to be doing a Bond series on the channel now.
It's more Battlestar Galactica,
dude. I gotta bring it in here with Tripping with Toys.
Yep, he's right.
BSG as I call it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was great.
Oh,
the original talking about
show.
OG.
Yes.
OG.
Oh, I'm talking about TV. Yeah, I'm talking like we go. I'm not talking about like the new
the
one
real
was cool
Starbuck
too.
and Apollo.
Yeah, I'm talking about they had them strapped down to a 71 Ford Bronco and they were driving around the Universal backlots. Like that's what I'm talking about. Talking about going on Universal's tram tour. You're like, yeah, how the hell did he get the Cylons on here?
Which I want to point out for everybody watching that may not know this or may have not gotten to experience the Universal backlot.
Yes.
I'm just going to tell you right now, when you go there, you're fucked for the rest of your life because you then realize that every movie you've ever seen is filmed there.
Yeah.
And it's just going to piss you off. So don't go if you haven't been, but you should go if you haven't been because it's also kind of cool. I don't know.
It did ruin Westerns for me.
I'm sure it did. Yeah.
It ruined a lot of things. So Richard, what do you say? Would you like to see an old Bond series with my man, Mr. Bronson?
You know what? Here's the thing. I would, because Pierce Brosnan suffered the one thing that no other Bond did, which was really, really bad writing in his movie.
Yes.
Like, the scripts were, and it was just that era of films. Everything in that era was kind of cheesy. Now, granted, you had the 70s cheesy, which was different than the 80s, but the 80s just seemed something about the cheesiness of his Bond films just seemed a little too over the top. And if I consider it cheesy, that's bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
I would like to see him. I would like to see, because he's a good actor. He's a solid actor. I would like to see him in more of a dramatic Bond than the action star. And I think that would be just something we haven't really experienced other than in the books.
Yeah, he did a movie a couple of years ago where he played an assassin, and it was a very hardcore and I thought, like, if they would have brought that same intensity to Bond, because let's be honest, for years we saw him on Remington Steele and we were like, this guy's James Bond, and you know, he got unfortunately the same thing Tom Selleck did. He was on the shafted of a TV show where he couldn't have been Bond. But when he did get it, you were like, you guys could have upped it a little bit more for him,
Yeah, now they don't have to do a series. Like, if they could do just a one-off movie and do it like, hey, this is like the end of James Bond, because they've already ended him once now. Mm-hmm. So this can be the old man Bond kind of a thing, like which could be cool. But also, like Scott Simpson says,
I saw that
Timothy Dalton. I love him. License to Kill is one of my favorite Bond movies of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one of the best.
Well, hopefully Amazon is, because we all know when Jeff Bezos goes online and says, "Hey, put up your poll who you want Bond." You might want to be crossing your fingers here.
Well,
Just
if
to
he
talk
gave $1
about this.
billion for the rights, I'm sure he can give a couple hundred million to Pierce if he really wants him to come back.
Oh, I don't think Pierce would take that much money and everything. I think he would act. I think he would leap at the chance if it was a good script because the last 23 years he's been picking some very good films, and so I wouldn't be surprised on that. But from the world of James Bond, uh, we are at the process where, like we always have to do at this part of the show, and this is the sad part of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of SK News. There.
Thank you for the news, sir.
Okay.
Well, as we come to wrapping things up, what information do we have for everybody for the week
Let's
and everything happening in the world of SKN?
let's roll this down again, like we said in the beginning of the show that Mr. Max said. We decided to like Richard and myself is going to take the heat. That's right. We're waiting for it. The Tribunal. It's a G.I. Joe Collectors podcast. And when we sat there, we said, we know how the community has been and everything. But guess what? You're not getting that with the Tribunal. You're getting a show that's talking about people's experience. We're not going to do anything where we're going to have, dropping exclusive figures and things like that. We're going to talk about the reason why G.I. Joe is such a great franchise. And, we run this week, it's the original 13. And then next week, it is going to be on the mass device. And Dr. Brentley has so graciously, who is not a Joe fan because I've begged him to go to Joe events and he won't do that. But he's going to do something that's going to debut on the second issue of the Tribunal. I don't know Joe, so I'm watching Joe, and he's going to actually watch the actual mass device miniseries. And there's going to be a little recap from somebody that is not in the G.I. Joe, what he thought about that animated series. So are you looking forward to that, Dr. Brentley?
I don't know, because if I hate it, I'm going to get nothing but hate mail for the rest of my days. And look, I didn't like
Joe
it as a
fans aren't
kid.
toxic at all.
No.
Yeah. But as a kid, I was just a little bit too old when it first came out, where I was just like, oh, I don't know. So I just never watched it, never got into it. I didn't like the way that the figures looked, because when my friends would pull them out of their toy boxes and everything, they looked like they just got in a car accident. But my Star Wars figures, they always had the nice, very straight arms and legs. I was fine. Always looked good.
You do know that G.I. Joe was the most sold.
Yeah, I know.
But
you can't tell me they didn't look like they just got in a car accident.
I do not. I will disavow that information if you ever brought it to me.
you know that whole posability. They stole that from Mego, right?
Oh yeah, everybody knows that. Yeah. But
those old Dukes of Hazzard and.
Well, we jump into everything again. If you're into the adventure teams from the 70s, if you're in the Real American Hero, Sergeant Savage, even that. And we're even going to cover some Action Force stuff and everything. So it's going to all be Joe. We're looking for a good time. Everybody come in. You can watch them it drops on Fridays for our members only. And then tomorrow it's dropping, I believe, 2 p.m. Pacific time here, and I think 5 p.m. on the East Coast. So, hey, now you know, and no one's only half the battle, because we're going to Toy Atlanta. Myself and Mr. Maddox at the end of March for Bandido Radio.
That is right.
We got to just do this before we go. What is Bandido Radio? Well, I don't need to explain. Somebody did it better than we did.
Incoming transmission.
There's a new show headed to Bandido Radio. Action Figure Frequencies with your hosts, Chet Maddox and Alexander Storm. All the talk on action figures you crave. Only on 112 FM Bandido Radio.
That is right. We will be at March 28th, 29th, and 30th in the city of Duluth, Georgia, for Toy Atlanta at the Bandido Radio and Odd Frog / Odd Frog Entertainment booth. And
Yeah.
we will be live streaming from that event. That's right. We have people lined up too. We got some surprises, but we're also going to rope in our buddies over at Blitz Transmission and the Sorlak Digest and anybody else that we can rope in for live in studio scenarios. We're going to be on Bandido Radio, some live streams, and then we'll be on SKN rolling it through that way. And that's not our only live stream. May the 4th. Oh, it's not just for Star Wars Day. It's G.I. Joe. The SoCal Joe Show is taking place on May the 4th. And the force is not with us. It's knowing half the battles with us. And we will be live streaming. We actually, SKN has a table at that event, and we will be live streaming from that. Richard's right next to us. He's going to be right next to us and actually slinging
right
out.
now.
And he's got some vintage now on the Tribunal. We're gonna show people the vintage bangers that he's bringing to this event.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to get a little preview and see some real American glory before he actually gets to show. So we'll be teasing that as well. And then I've heard right here, I think I can release this a little bit.
You hear that, Alex? You're getting called out by Moocher right now.
I know. I saw that.
The guy's fucking angry.
I saw that. Well, here's the thing. One good turn goes the other. Since it is Star Wars Day, we're going to give it to the Starlight Digest guys. Later on that day, they are planning something, so look forward to it. It's going to be an event. They've done it in a couple of years. They stopped for about a brief moment, but they're actually making that plans and everything. So go over to Starlight Digest podcast channel and make sure that you're checking out those days, because there's going to be 2 great events that day. 2 great events. And if you're not watching us on Wednesdays, because everything goes on, you got the Skeleton Tomb, which you just saw our double crossover on Toy Box Chronicles this Wednesday with Deadman and Scully. Fantastic. Well, they start at 6 o'clock on Wednesdays. Then it's your buddies over here on SKN Toy Box Chronicles at 7. And then the Sorlak Digest podcast at 8. And then you join us on Friday, another installment of Pixel Plastic Inc. Gentlemen, that's all I've got. Anybody else got some goodness for us? Richard, anything?
Let's go to Richard. What do you have, Richard?
I got let's see. You can catch me on Forbidden Panelcast. I think we do it every Monday. It's Mondays.
I want to know what day of the show you're doing.
I swear I'm recording every day of the week. So you can catch me on that. You can catch me on kscollectibles.com. Pretty soon I will be on Whatnot. John Cena's a heel now. Just want to throw that out there for everybody.
Yes, he is. Mr. Dr. Evil.
Dr. Brantley's Collectibles on eBay. If you want to collect a bunch of random stuff that I have had over the years and am getting rid of now. Other than that, I'm actually looking forward to the rest of Daredevil. I really loved it.
And Mr. Maddox, if they're not subscribing, what are they doing? Because didn't you come up with a promotion or something for the subs? And there's something that you're working on right now?
Yes, we are. So here's the thing: the Discord is fantastic, but also if you are subscribing, you actually don't have to pay for them right now, which is fantastic. We're giving them away for free. You just got to click subscribe. But if you're a member, there's more and more member-only information that's being populated on the YouTube channel. And then also, if you head over to the Discord when we launch the Shadow Nose Network final merchandise page. Right now, you can go to pixelplasticinc.com, and look at all the merchandise that we have. But there's going to be limited releases happening, and especially for Toylanta, we definitely have a limited release shirt that is going to be coming out for Toylanta. I don't have the image in front of me. I don't know if you have that, Mr. Storm. But this shirt will be going live for the weekend of Toylanta, and then we'll go away. And they are limited. We have limited them to, I think we got it to 500. It might be.
I do have those photos right there, sir.
And maybe the coolest design that you've come up with yet.
Let me
Yeah.
see. Let me remove one. Hold on. Sorry about that. There you go.
Look at that. So for Toy Atlanta, these shirts will be going live. We will be wearing them, but we're not going to actually ship them out until after we get all the orders, and then you'll have them. But there's a lot of good things coming down the pipe if you are a member of the Discord, because that's where the information is going to be popping first. And then we always tell you this and we always deliver, but we do have things in the works that are going to be pretty fucking phenomenal. I'm excited. SKN is making moves. We're growing, expanding, bringing people on. It's gonna be good. I'm excited for what's coming up. And then Meeks, by the way, he has been working hard at Joystick Junkies. Along with me is the main Discord builder, does a lot of back end work on Discord. If you're in there, you can get in touch with us all day, any day, all the time. We all live in Discord, so if you want to grow and you want to grow the community, would love to see you. Would love to see you there. The link is actually in our YouTube channel. You can find it there. I'm just we're prepping for Toy Atlanta. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be live. It's gonna be the first time we've done it as a channel, and we'll be live the whole time as long as they allow us to be. Let's put it that way. So we will be. You'll be able to find us out here, Rumble, all the places you can find it. Probably not Instagram. That shit doesn't work half the time, anyways. So you got to come on. You got to come on YouTube. But yeah, look. I'm excited, man, and there's more. Bandido Radio, the third block dropped. We talked about that earlier.
The
fourth block dropped.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's never ending. We don't sleep,
ending.
So
Never.
that's a real thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, like I said again, kiddies, you don't have to go, but you're gonna have to get out of here. But we want to see you right back here next week. We got some great things going. A whole bunch of things are popping up for Toy Box Chronicles. They got the Walmart Collector Con coming next week. We'll be talking about that. Other than that, hey, be safe. Have a good weekend. Make sure you watch the Tribunal on Saturday, and we'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen.
Incoming transmission.
There's a new show headed to Bandido Radio. Action Figure Frequencies with your hosts Chet Maddox and Alexander Storm. All the talk on action figures you crave. Only on 112 FM Bandido Radio.